Good afternoon and welcome to Fishing with CJ out on the boat. Since Graeme Pullen sold his boat, I think I'm going to be taking up the mantle of man alone, because I'm out here fishing on my own in my boat. I've moved my boat into a marina now, so it means I can launch on my own. So look forward to more trips man alone out on his boat. We just arrived to where we're going, and I have to say the water is a horrible brown colour. There's a lot of mayrot in this water, an awful lot. Maybe it's just up on the surface. I'm hoping that maybe down on the wreck it might be a bit clearer, because there's lots of fish showing up on the wreck. But whether they're feeding in this mayrot, we'll find out. So I'm just going to get myself tackled up, and then we will video some more. Right, first drop. Fish starting to show up, and there's a load of fish showing. Excuse me, I'm just having my breakfast. Right, on the bottom. Tide is just slackening off, so it's a real slow drift. We tried different speeds of retrieve, but when the tide's slack, it tends to be nice to have a fairly fast retrieve, because the fish aren't feeding so hard when the tide's slack. You've got to kind of coax them into doing it. We're drifting kind of along one side of the wreck, so gives us lots of opportunities to search the wreck, try different spaces on the wreck. The fish hold in points on the wreck, so you've got to kind of find where on the wreck where they're holding, and then you fish that spot. Oh, we'll have a fish on. We have a fish on. Oh, look at that bend in that rod. That was a very strange bite, but it's fighting well. It's putting up a good account for itself. It's woken up now. Take your line off me. Come on. Look at that rod bend. Hey! I think that's like I say, we're going to call it as a pollock because it's kind of given up now. But first wreck caught fish on this rod, and I love it. I love the way it put a bend in it. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that boy, on a sidewinder Skerry's eel, rhubarb and custard. Lovely pollock, and a fish for the species hunt. We haven't had a pollock yet, so well made up with that. Right, second drift. Maybe a little bit north of the wreck this time. I've done the opposite side of the wreck. I haven't actually gone right over the top of it yet. Let's try down this side anyway. Yeah, the tide is slackening off really rapidly now, so we are wallowing about a bit, and we actually kind of, I think, what little bit of wind there is, and there is very little wind, it's just pushed us too far north, so we'll wind this one up and then we'll reposition. There's a big flock of gannets just gone past up there, quite a way off. That's a good sign though. I think what we're going to do with that big pollock is we're going to cut it up and fillet it and ceviche one of the fillets. See how that goes. I've been dying to do that since I learned about ceviche. Let's get this up. Right, I'll put the camera back on when we drift again. Fish on, I think. I think it might be a pollock, a pouting, which normally is a nuisance fish, but for the species hunt, it's another point. Still tugging there. I'm sure it's a pouting. It's either a pouting or a very small pollock. See, spinning up. It is spinning, pouting. So, a little one, a little pouting, but one for the species hunt. So let's get a picture of him with the card. And chuck him back. So, get a card next to him. Get a picture for the phone. Oh, you've smacked the hook out. Well done. Go on, swim, little pouting. They don't survive normally because they get a barometric injury, but he's trying. Oh no, it's getting down. Go on, keep going. Get a bit deeper and your swim bladder will collapse. Okay, so 2 fish, one of which is a nuisance, but a point for the species hunt. So I'm happy days, happy days. I'm gonna kind of drift around, have a cup of tea, I think, just waiting for that tide to start ebbing properly, because I think at the moment the wreck is lying like that and I'm kind of drifting across it, and I should be drifting along it. When the tide runs, I'll run along the wreck. Now the predatory fish sit above the wreck waiting for food to come along, and food will come with the tide. So if something goes across at a strange angle, it isn't what they're expecting. So it's seldom you catch anything. That pollock I caught was right at the end of the flood. So we had a little bit of flood tide still running, and then, you know, it died. It died almost on the next drift. So pretty soon we're almost there. We're at the moment, we've been drifting like that, we're now drifting like that. So when I start to drift like that is the time to start fishing, and then it's going to pick up, and we'll get a few drifts in, and then I think it's going to be too fast after that. What I might do is go in and drop my anchor somewhere, fish with some baits for a little while, see if we can't pick up another species, a ray or something like that. One of the boats from the club has got engine problems. He's anchored up off Seaford Head, and he's going to fish there until I come and rescue him. So I can't go to where I was intending to go, which was over in that direction, but there is some gullies that are sort of almost on that route, so we might go in there and drop the anchor in there, see how it goes. So catch you later. it might wake up. It's coming up a bit docile now. Coming up when it saw the boat. What is it? Another little pollock. Two pollock on the boat. This one's a little one. I will try and put this back. It's not. It doesn't look like it's blown out. So I'll steer it. Go on, swim, 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 little pollock. Yeah, he's gone down. Fantastic. But again, very kind of gentle bite. Not a normal lunging great pollock bite. But hey, let's go around and do that again. I've changed my lure and I've gone over to a shiny white one now, just in the hope that there might be some bass down there. But obviously it works with pollock as well. Yeah, time to go around again. Let's get back onto that wreck. Just had a little take then. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, baby. I've only got a small lure on it. I love this rod. Look at it, pop bend. Oh, this thing is taking the line off me now. Oh yeah. Again, very tentative bite. Just I had to wait for that tide to change. Come on, up you come. I haven't got a net out, have I? I know the water magnifies it, but that looks like a bloody good fish. That is a good fish. That is a good fish. Let's get the net out with it. Oh, that's a good fish, and it's not one I can bloody lift out on the hook, I think. I'll get it. Get it. Look at that, my boy. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Look at that, got a wound on it. Oh, I'm made up with that. Gonna have to weigh that one. Ho, ho, ho. That is bloody good pollock. I don't know, between nearly £10 or it's £10. I'm not sure if it's showing up on the scale. What it's showing, it's going between 9.5 and 10.5 on the scale. So I'm going to say £10. That's what I'm going to declare it as. Woo-hoo. Happy days. Let's go and get his big brother. such a big one, I don't think. Unless it wakes up on the way up. A little one. Might take that for Marina's mum. What do you think? No, we've got enough. We've got enough. She's got a bit of that. So there we go. Steering back. And he's away. And he's away back down to the briny. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So 4 Pollock so far. Right, we're going to have one more drift on this wreck, I think. Then we're going to go on to another wreck, which is kind of over in that direction, which is known to hold bass, because I'd like to catch bass today if I can. But yeah, we'll have one more drift, see if we can't pick up something decent on this last drift, and then we'll go and try another wreck, and then possibly drop the anchor for a bit. So put the video back on when something happens. So what we're doing is we're letting it down, let the lead hit the wreck, and then we're winding up 10 winds, which is just where we've taken up the slack from the lure. So the lure should now be hard on the wreck. And then we leave it for a little while and bring it up nice and slow. And we're doing up to 30 winds, and then we're letting it back down again. So that's about a third of the way up, maybe half the way up, between a third and half the way up. I've lost count now because I'm talking. That's about enough. Let's get it back down again. So all the way down. Feel the lead hit the bottom. Right, so lead on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the lead clear of the wreck. The lure will still drop down a little bit, but that should just be the lure just above the wreckage. And then it's a slow, steady pull. So we're fishing tight against the wreck in case there's any cod or bass there. And then the pollock tend to sit quite high above the wreck. Don't think we've had anything in that drift. So we're going to have a check out this other wreck. I posted a picture on Facebook. You know, Facebook gives you these anniversary shots, and there's a picture from 9 years ago, yesterday, 9 years ago, and I had filled the boat with pollock. I mean, kind of a shame now to have taken that many fish, but yeah. So you know, we're having quite a good day today. I mean, we've had 4 today, 2 good ones. Let's go and see if we can get a silver bar now. So we're going to move the boat and going to head over to this other wreck. So let's just put it into the GPS. So steer. Got the waypoint. Not saying the name of the waypoint. So I don't want to come out here and find 30 boats on here. They're not secret, but you can find them yourselves. There you go. There's the waypoint. Stabbed in. Let's go. 2 miles to go on the bearing of well, we're here. Being very careful not to go over the top of the wreck, so I don't know if there's any fish on it. But let's give it a go. Water clarity is a bit better actually. Not quite so chocolatey brown. I mean, it's not clear, but it's not as brown as it was out there. There's a huge scour this side of this wreck, because this wreck lies across the tide, so you get a boil off it when the tide's running. We'll see if we can see the boil. The tide's a bit slack at the moment. Got a huge flock of birds. Oh, they are. Can't tell, but they're in a big V. I don't know if you can see them on the GoPro. See up there? Big V of birds. Oh, we haven't reached the wreck yet. We're in the hole that's next to the wreck. Give that a good fish out. Here's the wreck coming up now. Oh, there she is. So this goes up from 120 feet at the bottom of the wreck up to less than 80, so it's 40 feet high. Huge slab of thing, but that's partially because of it is lying across the tide, and the tide has scoured out underneath the wreck. Let's get down on it, get back down onto the wreckage. So it used to be a real good bass mark, but it's got really heavily fished in the last 10 years. But early run schoolies in May, April and May, it was famous for it. Got something on there. Fighting, but might wake up. It's coming up, so I'm not hooked into the wreck or anything like that. It's just heavy. Cuttlefish maybe. It wasn't on the wreckage at all. Weird. It's not fighting at all. It's a bin line or something. Doing our bit to clean up the oceans. What fish there are? Ah, I've got a line, look. I might tackle. Might get the gear back. Someone's fishing with some hefty line. Oh. Finger. Drifted a boat, either snap it out or pull it out. So I'm fishing with about £50 monofill. Yeah. Big elastic band, as I like to call it. They must have spooled their reel. There's a lot of people fishing out here that actually don't really know what they're doing. I have to say. How on earth would you end up spooling your reel like this? And who would be fishing with a line like this? I snapped it out, whatever it was. What's on the other end? Might be a rod on the other end. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Bloody may rot on it, I know that. Well, you know, if you lost about 300 yards of a red, quite heavy grey monofill, you know which wreck I'm fishing. But you. Look, they must have spooled their reel. Look at that. Look at that mess. Something for the line recycling bin. Right, so it's my turn to catch the wreck then, but what I didn't do is empty my spool. It's the trace is a lower breaking strain to the main line, so if you do hook your lure into the wreck and you can't break it out, it's just going to be your trace that snaps. Just a case of replacing your trace. I'm using 20-pound fluorocarbon as my main trace. Just use a blood knot on the end because it's dead easy to undo and change your lures. And then we want 3 arm spans. So you want a long trace. And it makes a lot of difference. You know, if you make it even 2 or 3 feet shorter than that, it will affect how it's fishing and how you're catching fish. So very important that. So we'll get this back sorted out, get it back, get it round again and have another go. It looks a really nice drift as well. It's a real shame that I caught the wreck in one. I don't know if you can see this on the fish finder, but there is some big schools of fish showing up just, you know, that 40 feet down. It's a bait fish, so could be mackerel I suppose, but more likely to be sprats or pilchards. But yeah, that's good to see, which should probably explain why we saw those gannets earlier on. Surprised we're not seeing any now. I'm not going to put some feathers down and have a go for them. I'm running out of time. I do want to drop the angle. Look, big raft of fish there. We'll have one last drift on this. If we hit it off, if we catch bass on it, we'll carry on. If we don't, there's some gullies around in this area. We're going to drop the anchor in there and fish on the bottom for a bit. See if we can't get another species. Another ray would be nice, I must admit. Also means I've got a chance to put my feet up. I haven't had a cup of tea yet, you know. It shows how busy I've been. I have not had a cup of tea yet. Speed this up a bit. When we get round to the other side of this, it will drift back into the wreck, or across the wreck. Right, put the camera on again when something happens. So let it down to the bottom. The wreckage should just be starting to show in a second. There's a few fish showing in front of it. Which is a good sign. Bass like to sit in front of wrecks. Well, it doesn't seem to be happening here, does it? We're going to have an hour at anchor, I think. Give it a go at anchor, see what we can do. So, let's put this camera on charge. Right, so in preparation before we put the anchor down, I've just got a bag full of pilchards here, which I got from Lidl, frozen. Chopped them up, and they're going to go in an onion sack, and that's going to hang off my anchor. So we've got a bit of a scent trail going back from the anchor, and hopefully that will draw our target species in. So that's what we've been doing. So get that down and get on fishing. So these pilchards are still mostly frozen, which is good because it will slow down the release of scent from them, so we don't get it all go in one go. Putting them into this onion sack. They do smell. And there's loads of scales on them as well, which is all sort of stuff that will drift down tide, hopefully drawing in target species. Tie it nice and tight because we don't want any loose bits flopping around. Face full of fish guts then. Right, good old favourite cable tie on here, I think. Cable tie this onto the anchor, and where I like to put it on the anchor is on this back eye here, so it's out of the way, it's not interfering with the action of the anchor in any shape or form, so it's out of the way. Right, so that's ready to go, the anchor's ready to go, the dam buoy is in place, so let's go and find our mark and then drop it bad boy. Just like that. I don't know if that got that on camera or not. Well, I just wound this back in because we're packing up, and I wonder how long I've been fishing with some polished hooks. That's been turned round, isn't it? So it's probably dogfish that have done that. We're packing up now because we've got to get back in for the tide, and also we've got to tow a broken down boat back in. So thank you very much for joining me. Might do a little bit of video of me towing the boat in just for the you know, a bit of B-roll. But other than that, we're finished with the fishing. Catch you later. I'll come up the other side here. I'm going to come the other side here. No, you want your engine down. Yeah. Because you've got to steer. You've got to steer.
That sits so nice in the water, that boat, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hold it.
Yeah, okay.
A bit more slack to come. I don't want it around my prop, so.
No, I'll pick that up now, Chris.
Yeah, just let pay it out again as once we start going.
Right, you are.
Yeah, you got to steer. Yeah, steer it that way at the moment, so that you come off, so you're sitting there, yeah? Right, so there we go, under tow. Put my four-way flashes on.